Hello, my name is Exebo, and this is Unity of Command 2 Baku Coup mission on hard. 3, 2, 1. Alright, I'm gonna spare you all of the puns that game throws at you with all these Bakukus and barbecues and everything. And let's look at the mission. This mission, like, out of the, conferences 4 and 5, this is one of the more, well, actually one of the more difficult ones. I think it's definitely harder than Standing Out. It might actually be the hardest mission of the entirety of conferences 4 and 5 in this DLC because of the objective you haven't seen, because Shervan is really, really annoying and really difficult to take, and I'll be honest, it took me some saves coming in this one, especially later in the mission, because, like, so many things can go wrong. But generally, the whole idea, obviously, at the beginning, you should do, like, all of the initial moves, by definition, and arrange all of those armies into, like, allocate them into different fronts and directions and areas. And so, the purpose of the 4th Army will be to push east along the coast and deal with all of those objectives. The 1st Army, as you can see, I'm pushing these tanks here into the middle between Grozny and that other city on the coast, Makhachkala, yeah, right. And so, the Soviets, as you can see, the Soviets have plenty of troops in the north, and they will use them around, I think they'll start using them around turn 3, we'll see. And so, here is me, here's the AI trying actually to destroy my breach of Baku. Well, Baku, actually. So the 1st Army will help defend between Grozny and Makhachkala because, well, the Soviets will, by God, will they attack. It will be very, very deadly there, and you will probably feed a bunch of Italians, a bunch of, well, your own, like, German troops into the mouth of war, and will have to take it. Maybe Slovaks, too. And so, the 1st Army, I generally send one strong unit from the 1st Army to help with Tbilisi. Generally, it is, as you can see, I've sent the SS Viking motorized division. Don't send anything else. It's very easy to overcommit in Tbilisi, so it does require a certain presence to succeed on time, but otherwise it's not a difficult area. And here's me taking refinery. You can actually, as you can see, you can actually take Baku if you're lucky with the support. And so I'm pushing through. This is a very good place to use your flying artillery, which I did in Kazbegi, and kick these guys out. Take my card and observe the glitches with the boundary, with the border front line, if you wish. And so I'm gradually pushing up my Viking division, and I'm blowing up those bridges. You really don't need those bridges leading from the Northern Railway, because you're not going to use it to feed your troops, especially since the Soviets will just take that whole area north of the river, and it's not very easy to defend. So blow those bridges up and set up defenses in that sort of groin area east of Grozny, set up entrenchments and everything, and push that 4th Army east. So the 17th Army is more of a mix, so most of it should go to Tbilisi. It's the 17th Army, really show. So Tbilisi, Kazbegi, they should deal with that. So maybe send a couple of Italians, especially like the fast divisions, like what I'm doing here. So the new divisions that you get later as reinforcements. So, but you can leave a few of the 17th Army units as defenses, like the stronger infantry divisions maybe. Because as you can see, I'm holding those hexes north of Grozny, north and east of Grozny. Those 3 hexes is pretty much where the Soviets will try to break through. They don't try to break through at any of the other hexes. Like 2 kills for tanks. I know the probabilities. I think it was, like, in that specific situation, it was maybe, like, 1 out of 6, so the AI had to roll 6 on that check, and so I think it was, like, without any modifiers. Yeah, it was good weather and a flat hex, so it was, like, no modifiers. So 2 kills, like, the AI has to roll 6. Anyone has to roll 6 if there are no modifiers. And so they rolled 6. It's not. I think it's not going to be the first time actually that happened in this playthrough. Which is, I know why it happens. I know why it happens. I hate it, and I've talked to people who also kind of complained about this. Like the AI seems to be cheating and seems to be kind of really like exploiting something. But the truth is that the AI is just trying to deal as much damage as possible, right? So generally, you use as the player, you use air support not to kill. Generally, you get air support to make it easier for yourself on the objectives. And so, and quite often objectives are well entrenched, are in difficult terrain, and these are all are modifiers, so yeah, it's usually more difficult to get decent results out of it. Right, so the AI usually tries to deal as much damage as possible to units that it considers to be as valuable in terms of their fighting power as possible. So yeah, there's that. There's also the factor that you usually attack, and it means quite often getting out into the open. And not sitting in very difficult terrain, sending your tanks into the plains and doing all those blitzkrieg maneuvers and everything. So, which means that you're out in the plain, and yeah, so which means that the AI is not getting any penalties to their air attacks. So generally, that's the two main factors. It's unavoidable, and really, the AI is playing by the same rules. But still, whenever you lose 2 steps on a valuable division, especially in a very tight mission like this, it's prone to make you very unhappy, and it does. But this also, to be honest, I kind of liked the northern part. Oh, yes, it happened. I'm gonna jinx myself. Had it not been a recording, I would have said, yeah, I jinxed it. But yeah, it happened twice. 2 kills, twice. And the thing is, I actually kind of enjoyed the northern part of this mission a little more, because Shirvan, as you can see, like, it's far in the southeast. It's very difficult to reach. Whereas in the north, you have to play this very tight, very stressful, actually, defensive scenario where you can actually very easily lose the entire mission, right? So because the Soviets are trying to block your railway line, block your supply for the Fourth Army that's rushing towards the east, right? So, and if they lose their supply, like even for one turn, it's like mission over, GG. Right, so, and as you can see, by the way, I don't have too much trouble dealing with Tbilisi. At some point, very soon, I think next turn, I will block the supply line for the defenders of the city, and so it's over for the Soviets. So don't, as you can see, it's not a difficult objective. Don't overcommit there. It's very easy to overcommit there. And the thing is, like, when I first started to explore this mission was, okay, yeah, I see Tbilisi, yeah, this kind of very difficult location, like, to reach, yeah, all these mountain passes and everything. It might mean that this is a valuable objective, so, like, it might be the key, because it's so difficult to reach, it might be the keys to the rest of the mission. So my thought was, okay, the Shirvan objective is clearly, like, is going to be a pain in the butt, and it is. Very, very, very accurate assessment, and losing my tanks, so painful. And so, yeah, I thought, oh, I'll take Tbilisi, and then I'll push to Shirvan southeast, and then I realized that there is no way you are getting any proper supply here. And so, and you have that airfield next to Tbilisi, which is clearly intended for you to leave a couple of divisions there, so that they are in supply, so that just in case you can defend Tbilisi, and yeah, that's it. That's as far as you go, and pretty much that's how it is. I don't think you can reasonably push towards Shirvan there. Like, the obvious idea is to use is to use the air supply abilities, right? So you get a card of air supply in this mission, and I don't think even with that card it's going to be very helpful, because you're not going to be able to supply 2 units on the same turn. And I think because the Soviets will keep doing a very good use a very good defensive approach, yeah. So they'll set up one of these defensive outposts at the bridges, right? So you'll have to cross a bridge and destroy enemy divisions. So they'll set up those outposts, entrench them, and as you can see, you can see the guys, the case in point, the AI is really hearing my cries and my complaints about how to deal with Shirvan from the west. And so yeah, so it's you need 2 to 3 divisions to actually push through here in that southern road without proper supply. Well, whatever you do, that doesn't matter what the supply is, right? So you need 2 or 3 strong divisions. And the thing is that you need lots of strong divisions in the north to protect against the Soviet counterattack, or just offensive, and it's impossible to supply them. So forget about that whole part of the mission, and you shouldn't go any further than that airfield. And Tbilisi, by the way, it's already cut off, because it's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So as you can see, I initially intended to send my Italian cavalry division to Tbilisi to maybe help out. It was so close, but no. I see that the front between those rivers, between Grozny and Makhachkala, I've actually succeeded in preventing the Soviets from doing anything north of Grozny. I've defended it pretty well. In Makhachkala, that bridge, make sure you actually cover it with something, because the Soviets will be very, very motivated to actually get there. So close. So close. You can see, I already said that this was a very tense mission in the north, and as you can see why. They're so close to actually blocking the railway line, but just not enough. Just not enough. Already kind of covering the railway line with the front line marker, but no, not enough. And so it's kind of tough. And in fact, interestingly, the Soviets haven't yet started actually counterattacking Baku. So there have been actually Baku they will start counterattacking. I don't know how it is on easier difficulty levels. On hard, yes, they do counterattack, and obviously, if you get lucky and you cause no, they're not attacking. So if you get lucky and in the process of taking Baku, you turn it into ruins, well, you're set. You don't have to worry about anything, right? The AI might actually try and encircle it and take away your supply, but you probably will have time to do it, and you actually get a card to provide aerial supply. So generally, you should be set. And this is me actually trying, this was actually a save point of mine around turn 6, because what happened was that the AI was, trying to kill me there, right? So, and I tried different permutations of what I could do, or how I could actually arrange my troops there so that the stats are better. And it's kind of very difficult to predict, and the thing is that you don't get too many options. But my recommendation there is to, obviously, look at what the troops you've got and leave the strongest units in Baku, so the number of steps. So generally, actually, the paratroopers are very good. Paratroopers are very good at defending, so they're better at defending than your normal German infantry, and twice as good at defending as Jaegers, right? So they have 4 versus 3 for normal infantry and 2 for Jaegers. So this is multiplied by the number of steps for the units. So the bigger unit is, so the better the defense is, right? Plus, obviously, better experienced unit goes into Baku, right? So try to combine it, but the problem was for me that the elite, I had an elite and a veteran unit, and the elite was kind of weak, and the veteran unit was kind of a bit beefier. So this is what actually happens. And so it's very difficult to actually gauge because it depends what is better, experience or number of steps actually depends on what the enemy is. And so what the attacker is in this case, right? So the suits. That motorized division is gonna suffer. No! Oh please, not retreating. That's painful. But, yeah, as you can see, the Soviets are attacking, and I got a little lucky here. I admit. There's just, if you're playing on hard, and you shouldn't be playing on hard, as the game says, don't feel bad about saving around this point, because it can get a little, I got super lucky there, as you can see. The paratroopers retreated. They retreated. But the Soviets simply did not have the movement points to get into the city. I got incredibly lucky there, and I think it's a problem with hard. So if you don't know, generally the game is best balanced for classic and normal, which makes sense, and most people actually play. Like, the overwhelming majority of people who play Unity of Command 2 play it on Classic and Normal, and I used to be one of them. And so, and I have a feeling that, oh yeah. So at this point, I decided to actually start taking those hexes, even if it means some losses. And the reason being that the AI tends to, and it's true about actually the AI in Stalingrad. They actually have changed the AI in this DLC, and the AI tends to like to hold more than one hex next to the objective before taking it. So if you have Baku, for example, yeah, and so you have like all these hexes around it. And so if the AI sees that, I need to take this objective, and I only hold one hex next to it, so taking more hexes next to it takes priority. So if you retake some of the hexes next to the objective that the AI covets, you can actually take hexes or hold hexes around that objective as much as possible and kick the Soviets out of those hexes next to the objective to actually distract the AI and force it to deal with those hexes first, and then, well, not having the time of movement points or whatever to deal with the objective proper. And this is a very good way of actually slowing the Soviets down, actually playing for time, and this is actually a very good strategy for Disaster on the Volga, because you don't have to, like, most of the troops that you get in Disaster on the Volga are not going to persist into anything else, right? You're not going to see them again, so you can easily sacrifice them. And you can actually sacrifice them into those kinds of attacks. So pushing those hexes around critical objectives, and, forcing the AI to slow down and not be able to actually take them. Oh, this got very hot, very dangerous. But I was more concerned about, like, my push on Shirvan, because right now, I have in this situation, I have only 2 turns to take Shirvan. And I need to somehow get to Shirvan by the end of next turn, and then take it in one turn and actually clear it also, because the AI is not passive there and will counterattack if the defenders are weak. Or weak in the general sense, not in the terminology of this game. Definitely don't send someone weak in the terminology of this game, because it's even worse. But if the defenders are relatively weak and the AI holds too many hexes around it, it's like, goodbye. It's not gonna work. Alright, and the Soviets are getting crap loads of reinforcements. But as you can see, in the north, it can get very hot. And I wonder actually if it's possible to be slightly more aggressive there and maybe block the bridges so that some of their troops don't even get. And here's me just like blocking those hexes just to prevent the AI. Like, it's kind of slightly dangerous actually, because that guy is completely suppressed and very vulnerable. And here's me, and once again, this was my another save point here, because I was just trying to find the right way of sending these troops, because I knew that this was my... Well, it wasn't probably my best playthrough, because of all of the losses I sustained due to enemy air support. But, as you can see, the tanks are crazy good here. Yeah, and this area, yeah, so Tbilisi is mine, and I'm already sending all of my motorized divisions away. I think the Viking, at this point, actually don't have enough time to actually bring, like, most of the infantry back. But I think Viking will participate, will help out, so it's fast enough to do that. And here's me trying to, well, relieve those divisions, generally succeeding. So far, right now, I still have a pretty good amount of troops to deal with the Soviet pushes, because as far as I remember, by the end of this mission, it's gonna get very tenuous. Despite all of my reinforcements, the Soviets have just so much more. And you really need to play for time and kind of force them to stop attacking, really, like, just end the mission and hope for the best. And as you can see, so the defenders of Grozny, right now, at this point, the Soviets are not going to attack at Grozny. They've completely given up, and they're committing, like, in that area between the rivers. So you can actually start gradually retreating these troops. As you start losing those divisions, as you can see, you can actually start gradually losing, like, moving those divisions guarding Grozny. Obviously, don't completely leave that place, but yeah, you can start actually moving them, so just to plug those holes. And as you can see, by the way, I failed to hold a single hex next to Shirvan. It's going to be very tight there. But there was a way, so please always hold a hex next to the objective a turn before. But in Shirvan, it's so distant, so tight. Like, it's not distant, it's not crazy distant, but it's like the AI is very good at controlling those. Well, the scenario designers, they know how to use zones of control in that triangle area between Sumgait, Shemacha, and Shirvan. Like, they set up those static infantry divisions in a way that, like, is the most annoying in terms of zones of control. Like really pretty much the magic zone of control triangle of death. Yeah, so oh nice, I got lucky. Got lucky with that retreat. Essentially, like, 2 hexes away, like this kind of go, like at equal distances, 3 units, 3 divisions. They exert a big zone of zone of control, which really makes it very difficult to move your troops through, even, like, especially if you don't want to engage them in combat. And they knew how to do it, and it was really annoying. But thankfully, I got Shirvan and cleared some of the hexes around it. So yeah, probably, well, definitely in this playthrough it was a successful playthrough. So I actually managed to prevent them from pushing back. That was a dumb idea, sending that motorized division. I won't be able, because it's weak, I can't give it rear guard. But I really wanted to kill that tank. And Viking are returning, gradually returning, are actually moving all the troops back. Everyone that I can. But, like, those infantry divisions are just gonna stay there. Just no way they're gonna be useful. And now I'm kind of desperate at this point. Maybe it doesn't look like it. But at this point, it actually was getting kind of desperate there. So even though I have many units, I don't have many strong units. And it's just 2 infantry divisions. Okay, veterans and everything, but I'm already kind of, my mobile troops are very much relying on Slovaks and Italians, and obviously these are weaker divisions. And it's not a good sign, so my tank and motorized divisions are kind of depleted, and returning that Viking is a very good idea. Even though they're not going to participate too much, they will get into the kind of this ending final part of the battle. But to be honest, once Shirvan was mine, once it was secure, I wasn't worried about it. I knew that I would just, like, throw everything at those guys and somehow survive the whole deal. And, some guides, as you can see, it's not a big deal. It's not well defended. I'm not getting much luck with the air support, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So this whole area is reasonably well in supply. I'm still losing my tanks, and I'm guessing I'll just take some guide next turn. But it's not an urgent thing, and yeah. So like the thing is that by the time you take Shirvan, by the time you take Shirvan, it's not gonna be like the situation around that area of the map is gonna be pretty much what you see now. So, well, not now, but now. So it's pretty much you're gonna have decent supply there. You're gonna have pretty much control most of it. So you pretty much are going to encircle that area, and you will easily just push towards some guides. You will probably have destroyed most of the Soviet reinforcements there, so it's not going to be too difficult to handle. So some guides is definitely one of the easy objectives in this mission. And let's see what the Soviets do. Turn 10. The mission is almost over. I don't think they'll try and attack Shirvan, even though they have a few divisions that are reasonably nasty. At this point, I'm really, like, that division, I just tried to sacrifice it. It was kind of getting a bit dangerous. Once again, as I say, it doesn't look like very dangerous, but it's kind of, it might end very badly for me. I had that sense. And once again, like, since you have this very nasty objective in the form of Shirvan, you don't want that railway blocked even for a single turn. Like, if it gets blocked, right now it doesn't matter really. Like, these guys are well supplied. They're next to the Baku airfield, so they will get supplied if push comes to shove, right? So it's not that big of a deal. But when you're just approaching some guys, just approaching Shirvan, that breach too, you really want to keep it tight. And now I'm just taking some guys and, yeah, not worry about it. So now, yeah, come on, block my railway line, I don't care. And now I'm just arranging all the troops just to make sure that they're all fine. And doing some, like, recreational attacking, but I can now retreat. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is kind of not necessary, to be honest. I'm probably doing it just for experience for my HQ, which you should gather, even though on hard it's kind of fraught with danger, because there is a chance on hard, even against suppressed enemies, completely suppressed enemies, there is a chance of actually losing troops. And so, like, I think on classic it almost never happens. On hard it's regular. It's not common, but regular. Alright, and so the Soviets counterattack if they're not going to do anything. So, this is it. This has been a very long video, lots of commentary. I'm kind of tired, and, thanks for watching. This means, like, I'm kind of tired, means thanks for watching and listening, and until next time.